race means a lot to us because Flip Merwin was a good friend of all of ours. He was one of them guys that just got along with everybody.
11 of the top 12 from Eagle River are here, so I mean that's a pretty good drawing.
We're here because we want to be here. It's nice that they got a lot of money here too.
Well, it's been at least probably 20 years ago, 20 years ago. A buddy of mine was sitting at the bar called the Eagles Club on Lake Wausau, and we were having a couple cold brews, and we noticed this character out front coming wide open to an open hole in the ice, which is the channel, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 he flew over the top of the water and away he went. Well, we heard the sled coming again. Here he came for the second time around. Boom, 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 across the ice he went, and we're like, it's colder than heck outside. Couldn't believe it. Well, lo and behold, here we heard the sled one more time, yeah, yeah, yeah. And in he went. And of course, that raised a lot of eyebrows, everybody there. We went running outside right away, and the guy ended up getting up to the ice and pulled himself back up. And by the time he got to shore, he looked just like the gingerbread man, the way he was walking. Well, lo and behold, that was the first time that I got a chance to meet Flip Merwin. Now, I was already working, did not realize that I was already working for his dad at the time. And when we finally got him out of the water, got him off of the ice, the only thing he said to me with the same grin that Flip Merwin always had is, "You're not going to tell my dad, are you?"
He kind of did that all on his own. He was, what do you say, an entrepreneur of that. You might say he got involved with snowmobile racing, and that's where he started, was Gleason.
I told him, I said, "Flip, I don't want you getting into stock car racing. I love it." He liked it a lot. But I said, it's such an expensive sport, time-wise and money-wise, that I'd just soon have you as a fan. "Okay, Dad." But then he got into snowmobile racing for 2 years, and my wife and I never even knew about it. He raced up in Gleason. "Don't tell my mom and dad." And that's how he got in, started. The good side of it is it keeps him out of other stuff that isn't good. You know, it takes up all your time and your money, and it's a fun sport, like any sport, but it's fun, and it keeps you out of getting in trouble, I think. So from that standpoint, I'm not going to say you can't do that anymore. So that's how it went.
My dad came home, I think it was like around 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. I was really little, I had just gotten up, and my mom sat me on the counter, and my dad, he kind of like busted through the door, and he was just bawling. And I remember seeing that, and I haven't ever really seen my dad cry a whole lot, and it was just kind of like, oh my God, this superhuman of mine is in tears over something, and it became apparent what it was after the fact.
Eagle River was a below zero day, winds out of the north. We're going in the top 10 qualifier with 1 lap to go, and he checked to see where the guy was, and it was done. I never saw the hit. When I went to the accident scene, the shear boys pulled me away and said, "You can't touch the sled." And I said, "I just want to throw a new radiator on it and a new hood, and we'll go into LCQ for Sunday morning." And then everything changed.
It was the first time I ever pitted for Flip. I was invited along. He asked me to be on the team earlier. Obviously, I was excited. Any time with Flip was fun. We struggled. We struggled. We did not have an overly fast sled. All kinds of different adjustments, so on and so forth. All kinds of other teams helping him out, trying to get more speed out of the sled. It was a fairly new sled that he was running that weekend. We made it into the last chance qualifier. It was the last race, and Flip Merwin was out in front. We were ecstatic. One of the things I got to tip off on, it was the first race his mom made it to. And we were so happy and things were going great. Flip Merwin was ahead, not by a real far, a good 50, 60 feet, whatever. He seemed to turn around to see where the competition was, which was right on his tail, and something broke or he hit a groove. The sled veered off and went right into a post at the beginning of the wall, and that was that. We all ran down as fast as we could. I never seen the Eagle River stop, but they shut down the races that night. And everybody went to the hospital. Eagle River did not know what to do with all the people in the waiting room. Everybody, mortified at what happened. So lo and behold, I was there with him. Ralph Merwin came out of the ER into the waiting room where we were all at, pointed to me, and asked me if I would go with him. I did, and at that time, when I seen Flip, the doctor pronounced him dead. I'll never forget Flip's face, and I'll never, ever forget what Ralph went through. I was in there with him for probably a half an hour, 40 minutes, and the only thing I wanted to do was come out and call my dad. The next day, knowing we had to get up there anyways, I left early in the morning, got up there, there sat the trailer, and it was filled with people's signatures and little notes to Flip. Very, very touching. It's still hard for me. It always is. And then I don't care, because I will never forget him, the situation, and what Ralph Merwin did to keep his legacy going.
It just means a lot to me to come here and race in his honor.
Flip would love this. This would be right up his alley. 3 miles from his house. I mean, the work we do for this is going to promote the sport, and it's a good thing for the town. Everybody loves it. I mean, when drivers call you on their way to events asking, hey, how's your race coming for 2 weeks from now, it makes you feel good.
When the last year he raced, he said, Dad, I think I'll do it one more year and I'm gonna keep going, but get somebody else to drive. And he said, with that farm out there, we should rebuild our own track. I said, you know what an endeavor that is? And then Wally Shear called up and he said, could we put a race together for Flip's memory, just a one-time race? And I said, Marathon Park racetrack is gone. state park, nobody wants to go there with the concrete walls and everything. I said about the only thing would be a lake, and then we thought a man-made lake, and that's where it all kind of started. And we really got baptized when we started that, because it snowed 12 inches that Friday night, and all we had was 2 big tents, and we had 20 guys out there with the rakes trying to keep the tent from falling down. But we got it in, and we had a meeting a week later and decided to do it one more time, and then it just kept going.
We heard rumor on our end that they were thinking about having a race, and it's like, oh, this is going to be pretty cool, and it's just unbelievable how it's started at Man-Made. We raced there, I remember, and then Ralph decided to get this place, or he had this property, decided to build a track here, and built this, and it's became one of the the top race of the year besides Eagle River, and it's just pretty cool that it's carried on this long already, and seems to be now Ralph kind of stepped away, and other people have stepped up, and there's just a really good group here that just keeps, works close together, and it's still to this day, pretty special that they can continue this on and keep it going. And
we had a pretty good sized recession after 2008. I don't know if you remember that, but that was a tough one. So we built this track with a lot of volunteers, and we moved 80,000 yards of dirt with an earth mover and 2 big bulldozers that were donated to us to use. And we had 20 guys building the retaining walls and everything, because a lot of people weren't working. It was mostly volunteer.
World champ Nick Van Strydock on the 13 Polaris and Travis McDonald's number 8 Skidoo. How is this going to play out? Brandon Johnson won his 2nd and 3rd round heats. Chartier holds 2nd. Van Strydock still 3rd.
Yeah, so I think Flip's legacy right now that I concentrate on is just keeping the venue in existence. One of 2 purpose-built ice oval snowmobile racing facilities in existence, the other being in Canada. This sport is awesome and underappreciated, and right here in Wausau, I'd love to be a part of it growing and staying here.
It is great. Like you said, obviously the population of Rib Mountain being there and State Park closing. So, but it's awesome too as racers to have a place that you can, try and achieve things and have that establishment. And it takes a whole crew and things in that nature. And there's a lot of logistics, as you guys know, that go into it that many people will never see. You'll try to explain it takes this much effort, this much time, but unless you're actually doing it, you don't really understand. So for those people to continue to work hard to keep this going, it definitely will thrive for us racers to have a place to come, and not only a good place to come, but a place that'll hopefully draw in a lot of people with that.
Oh, yeah. And just all the history that was with the track and everything growing up, you seeing it, watching it, and now the idea of it possibly closing or not continuing, it kind of just breaks you. But then thankfully for all the great people that did step up and are taking action in that and putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, it really hits you, because it's that those people also see the same thing that you saw as a kid, that want to keep the track going and just get it much bigger and better, and just all around just keep having that same fun that you did when you were a kid.
My favorite part is the people I met and become friends with. So, and some of them have passed already that we're helping here. So, yeah, that's where we're at as far as favorite racer. I like them all. Can't have a favorite.
I like to believe, that everything happens for a reason, and I think snowmobile racing got safer after that. And obviously, when Ralph had a vision of building this track, it was all about safety, and I think a lot of other tracks copied that and emulated that, and he helped a lot of other tracks, and all the drivers wanted to come to the 525 race because of Flip and because of Ralph, and because it was safe. And we've always run a safe show here, and we'll call a race if we don't think it's safe, and we'll put extra hay bales where people don't think we need extra hay bales, and just when you think you don't need a hay bale there, some snowmobile ends up in them. So I think it's been a great legacy that he's left behind, and one we celebrate all the time for safety.
What pulled me into the track was the people that are here. You cannot beat the passion, the commitment, everything about the volunteers and people who are so dedicated to this place. This track will grab a hold of certain people and it won't let them go.